Did you know that Ronnie Van Zant, the legendary singer and soul of Lynyrd Skynyrd, actually predicted his own death with terrifying accuracy just moments before stepping onto the plane that would kill him? It sounds like a dark urban legend fabricated by fans, but survivors, family members and friends have all confirmed that Ronnie frequently told them he would never live to see the age of 30. He was 29 years old on that fateful day, October 20th, 1977. As he stood on the tarmac in Greenville, South Carolina, looking at the aging aircraft that was about to take them to Louisiana, he turned to his bandmates and said the ominous words that still haunt rock history. "If it's your time to go, it's your time to go." He then walked up the steps, lay down on the floor of the plane with a pillow and closed his eyes, as if he had already accepted his destiny. To understand why this crash was so tragic, we have to look at the machine they were flying in. The plane was a Convair CV-240, an old model that had seen better days. In fact, the story gets even stranger, because the band Aerosmith had inspected that exact same plane earlier that same year. Aerosmith's flight crew took one look at the aircraft, and the pilots saw them passing a bottle of Jack Daniels back and forth in the cockpit and immediately rejected the contract. They told their management that the plane was a death trap, and the crew was not fit to fly. Lynyrd Skynyrd, however, was exhausted from a grueling tour schedule. They had just played a massive show and were desperate to get to Baton Rouge for the next gig. They decided to risk it, planning to replace the plane as soon as they arrived at their destination. Tragically, they never made it. During the flight, the situation deteriorated rapidly. Witnesses on the ground later reported seeing the plane flying suspiciously low, and survivors recalled that the right engine had been sputtering and shooting flames days before the crash. On this final flight, the pilots realized they were running out of fuel due to a mechanical malfunction that was burning gas at an alarming rate. They frantically tried to transfer fuel from one tank to another, but instead they accidentally starved the remaining engine. Pilot's voice recorder captured their panic, but back in the cabin, the atmosphere was hauntingly different. Imagine the silence. When the engines finally cut out completely, the roar of the flight disappeared. The massive metal bird turned into a heavy glider, falling silently through the sky over the dense, dark swamps of Gillsburg, Mississippi. The only sound was the wind whistling against the fuselage. The drummer, Artimus Pyle, later recalled the terrifying calmness of that moment. He said the band members simply looked at each other. Some were playing poker, others were sleeping. There was no screaming, no chaos. Ronnie Van Zant, still lying on the floor, didn't panic. It was as if he knew the prophecy was being fulfilled. When the plane finally tore through the thick pine trees, the impact was devastating. The wings were sheared off by the forest, and the fuselage broke apart. Ronnie Van Zant died instantly on impact, exactly as he had feared, never reaching the age of 30. But the most bizarre and almost cinematic part of this tragedy happened immediately after the crash. This is the chapter of the story most people forget. 3 of the survivors, including Artimus Pyle and 2 road crew members, managed to crawl out of the burning, twisted wreckage. They were in shock, bleeding, with broken ribs and severe internal injuries. Despite their condition, they knew they had to find help for their friends. They stumbled through the thick, muddy swamp in the middle of the night, crossing creeks and pushing through barbed wire fences. When they finally saw a light in the distance, they headed towards it. It was the farmhouse of a man named Johnny Moat. Now put yourself in Johnny's shoes. It was dark, and suddenly 3 figures emerged from the woods, covered in mud, blood, and smelling of jet fuel. They looked like zombies or monsters. The farmer didn't see famous rock stars. He saw a threat. It was a moment of pure confusion. Pyle yelled, "Plane crash!" And only then did the farmer lower his weapon, realizing the horror of the situation, and ran to call for ambulances. Before we conclude this tragic tale, if you are fascinated by the hidden stories behind the music legends you love, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. Hit that like button and share this video with a friend who thinks they know rock history. I bet they don't know about the farmer and the shotgun. The aftermath of the crash changed the world of music forever. In a cruel twist of irony, the band's new album, Street Survivors, had been released just 3 days before the accident. The original album cover featured a photograph of the band standing in the middle of a street, engulfed in flames. It looked like a chilling premonition of the fire and destruction that would consume the crash site. Out of respect for the grieving families, the record label immediately recalled the albums from stores and replaced the cover with a simple black background photo, making the original flame cover a rare and valuable collector's item today. The crash silenced one of the greatest southern rock bands of all time, but the legend of Ronnie Van Zant continues. Every time Free Bird plays on the radio, with its lyrics about flying high and not being able to change, we are reminded that sometimes the music is more connected to destiny than we dare to admit.